Welcome to 7 Days in February, March. No, I'm sorry, what am I saying? March. Episode 540 of Dylan Knows. I'm your host, Dylan Knows, and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, episode 540, 7 Days in February. This week started off with the Super Bowl, and then we had snow, then we had Valentine's Day. Then we had Ash Wednesday. Then we had more snow. And now we have freezing cold temperatures. So it's a lot going on here in the Eastern Seaboard, which is where I am located. I am still suffering from kidney stones, but my left side over here where the stones were has not hurt in a while. I do have a little bit of a twinge over here. It's been going on pretty much all day today, so I don't know what's going on with that. I finally got rid of all the Christmas stuff, got that all down, taken pictures back up, and came up with an idea to move a bookshelf over to a table where our table used to be that broke during the holidays. So it's all nice and clear now. My wife and daughter out in the cold camping. My son was supposed to go, and I was supposed to have a free weekend, but he decided the last second not to go, so I had to rearrange my stuff, which kind of pissed me off a little bit, but in the end, it was still kind of nice to have him around, so it was good. My wife and daughter will be back tomorrow, which will be Sunday, March 18th. Yes, we are, not March 18th, February 18th. We were moving right along here in the month of February. So a lot of stuff happened this week. The MAGA GOP got fucked and screwed multiple ways. There's some bad news, some deaths, including one major political one, which hopefully might start the downfall of Russia, and a shooting at a Super Bowl parade. We'll reveal who the winner of the Super Bowl was. Of course, it's been about a week, so obviously everybody knows who it is right now, but I'll let you know on my show anyway, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Talk about the trailers that popped up during the commercials. Marvel dropped some big bombs this week, including rearranging the schedule of their movies and introducing the cast of the Fantastic Four. So we got that going for it. And what else do we got? We got some holiday stuff coming up. The John Wick experience. I'm dying to find out what that's all about. Saw a great rom-com called Just Like Heaven. I'll probably just do a brief, quick rundown of that. No awards right now. The Oscars are about a week away, and not a week away, about a month away. So we got that going on. And I don't know, some science stuff is in there. And the mystery of the pregnant stingray without a mate deepened. And police officers have a shootout with an acorn in Florida. And some interesting casting news, potential casting news, I should also say real quick. A televangelist from Arkansas has some interesting things to say. And I'm just right because I know what this is. Let's fix this. And we'll see what's happening here. So let's move on because I can feel the twinge getting a little bit worse now. I did take some Oxycontin. Legally prescribed. Only had 20 of them, and I took one on Friday because I had a pain on this side on Friday. Took one before the show because last week's show was miserable. I was sitting down here. I don't know if it was a chair that feels a little bit better, but now I'm starting to feel the pressure hurt again. I had a bad night last Saturday night. I couldn't sleep for a while. Almost thought I had to go back to the hospital after doing the show, so I don't know exactly what that was all about, but I'm trying hopefully that this new chair and taking the Oxy now will help before that, and then I'll be able to take my ibuprofen before I go to bed in about 3 hours, so it's good on that. It is presently 11:28 p.m. here on Saturday, February 17th. I am toying with the idea also of, now that football season is officially over, going back to Sunday afternoons doing my show. I'm finding it harder and harder now that I'm tired, particularly now I'm fighting this kidney stone. to stay up till 11:30 to do the show, and then actually I do the show for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's the 1:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, and then staying up till about 2 o'clock because I need a little bit of time to unwind a little bit. So it's getting a little kind of hard because I get tired during the weekends. So I might go back to Sunday. It's not set in stone yet. I'll wait and see how things go next weekend, or this upcoming weekend, I should say. So Monday is Martin Luther King. Jesus, I am way out of this. The Oxycontin talking is President's Day. So my children are off on Monday. So my daughter and wife will be back tomorrow, as I said, from camping. And tomorrow's basically Saturday for them because they have another day off on Monday. I don't, and my wife doesn't. So, oh well. As I said, yes, a very interesting week. It started on last Sunday because I did the show Saturday into Sunday last week. Sunday was it's hard to believe that last Sunday was Super Bowl Sunday, that it was just there. Kansas City Chiefs took on the San Francisco 49ers. The Kansas City Chiefs in the first half of the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs looked like the Kansas City Chiefs of the regular season, sloppy. They looked like shit. They looked terrible. They did not look like a dominating team. San Francisco looked like the better team, but they had their own errors as well. It was like 10-3 at halftime, so not a lot of scoring. And then it really didn't pick up that much either. Kansas City got back on its game a little bit, and San Francisco did also. And it ended up being going to overtime, only the second Super Bowl game to go in overtime. And eventually the Chiefs came out and pulled it off. I forget what the score was. Don't give a rat's ass anyway. I think it was 25-22, something like that. Guess I'll look that up. I don't remember. I don't give a rat's ass because Kansas City Chiefs won. Whoop-de-doo. They went back-to-back. Whoop-de-freaking-doo. 25-22. Yep, that's what it was. So in overtime. So yippee. My Super Bowl Sunday was entertaining. My family wanted to stay up and watch it with me, mostly for the commercials and the Super Bowl halftime show, and just hanging also. And we basically just ate appetizers. Last year we did appetizers and tried to do taco night, but that was just way too much. So we just skipped taco night and just did appetizers. So we had crab pretzels and guacamole and chips and veggie tray and what else did we have? What did we know? Oh, monkey bread and the Frito dip that we usually make, and it was good times and fun times. The commercials were a little bit better though. Disappointed by the trailer. Showed about 5 seconds of the trailer and said, "Watch the full trailer online." So we ended up having to go online to watch most of the trailers, but we got trailers for the ones that we expected: Deadpool 3 and Twisters and Wicked and what else was there? Those ones I remember. And there was some good good Super Bowl commercials, and the halftime show was entertaining, but it just was sort of mid for me anyway. And that was it. So yep, the Chiefs won 25-22 in overtime. Taylor Swift was shown for a grand total of 54 seconds, and people still lost their freaking minds out of a 3.5-hour game. A lot more cutesy stuff between her and Travis came out after as they're celebrating the Super Bowl win. Travis Kelce, still big douchebag, dick face, dick wad, motherfucking fuckface, shitbag on the field, screamed at his coach and started a whole new meme sensation. And his brother Jason called him out on it during their New Heights podcast this week, as they absolutely should have. And then people are thinking that, that's a red flag for Taylor, that he's going to be an abusive boyfriend, and the fact that he drank a lot. But let's face facts. Taylor drank a lot also, and they seem to be having a good time. And I think Travis Kelce has 2 personalities. He's got his on-field douchebag personality, and then his off the field, still kind of douchey, but not a little bit more palpable, I should say. So good on them. So we had that to start off the week. And then surprised on Sunday, I guess Sunday night and a Monday, was it, I guess, something like that. The weather report, they were supposed to get a 3 to 6 inch snowstorm, which I had not heard a single thing about. I knew it was going to rain heavy, but I did not hear about any freaking snow we were supposed to get because the temperature the week before, last week, before the Super Bowl, was warm temperatures. We got into the 50s and 60s up here, so the ground was nice and warm. So I was like, how is this going to even be an issue since it's the ground is so warm? And the weathermen are like, well, it's a special system that is cooling on itself so that it'll cool everything down, as it's supposed to snow an inch an hour, and once, after a while, it's going to overwhelm the heat and freeze. It's going to lay out, and it's going to be a big mess. So on the basis of weathermen saying we're getting 3 to 6 inches of snow, could get more up on the border between PA and Maryland, Baltimore County Public Schools, and lots of schools. Actually, Baltimore County Schools went with 2-hour delay because the storm was supposed to start early in the morning and be over and done with because it was a fast-moving clipper by like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. So that would be about a 2-hour window for that. And then the next morning, that Monday morning, they announced after I left for work that schools were closed. And when I left for work, it was snowing pretty heavy, but it wasn't laying. The ground was, again, too warm. It really was. It wasn't laying in the grass. It wasn't laying on the sidewalk. It was laying on maybe cars that had been sitting outside for a little cooler than normal. And they were calling 3 to 6 inches in my area. Let me show you what we actually got. I wish I was a weatherman. I wish I was a weatherman. We got this. Green grass. Holy shit. Did that fall from the sky instead of snow? Yes. It was Tuesday. Monday into Tuesday. That's what it was. All right. Yes. Snow came down. It was Tuesday morning. It was Monday night into Tuesday. That's what it was. Snow came down. Did not lay. Stopped sooner than normal. No precipitation in most of Baltimore County. And they closed schools for nothing. So that's number 3, closing schools for snow. So now, if there is another real snowstorm this time, and they close schools, it'll be asynchronous, which means they have to go online to do it. Green grass, no snow. I think all that was left of the snow we had on Monday to Tuesday, was there's a little patch on my deck about this big. 3 to 6 fucking inches. Fuck you, weatherman. What the fuck do you know? Not a lot, apparently. Wednesday was Valentine's Day, whatever you want to call it. Valentine's Day has never been really big in my family. My wife and I never really celebrated. I don't think I ever had sex on Valentine's Day with my wife at all. Even when she was in sexual mood, I don't think we ever did it on Valentine's Day. Never got any special sexual favors during Valentine's Day, which a lot of people, do. It was also the beginning of Ash Wednesday, since Easter is extraordinarily early this year. It's March 30th. So Lent has to go 40 days. So Lent started on February 14th, Valentine's Day. So it was also Ash Wednesday, which means you cannot eat meat if you're Catholic on Ash Wednesday and every Friday from now till Good Friday. So we're going back to eating pizza on Fridays for dinner, a cheese pizza Fridays for dinner, and having to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches instead of my deli meat stuff. I also have to give something up for Lent. I gave up soda because soda apparently is bad for kidney stones. I haven't been drinking a lot. I drink about one a day, and maybe more than that. I've been drinking a lot more water, obviously. But Yeah, so we had that. So we end up having shrimp scampi because fish and shrimp are not considered meat in the Catholic world. And the main reason why is because this whole thing about not eating meat during Lent came about due to the fact that fishermen who were out in Galilee and shit like that were not making a lot of money because everybody was eating meat all the time. So the Catholic Church decided to help them out by creating this law. The Bible supposedly says you cannot eat meat during Lent, but you can eat fish. So that helped during those 40 days of Lent to help the fishermen make their money up. It's sort of like, the holiday season shopping where you might have a bad retail experience the whole rest of the whole year. But when you get to Christmas, that period from Thanksgiving to Christmas, you make bank. So that's sort of what they did with the fishermen. So that's kind of what that is about. So that was what happened then. And then, so got some presents. I actually got presents I actually really liked last couple of years. It was almost like my wife said, "Oh shit, it's Valentine's Day. Oh, let me just get this stuff for him." And it was stuff that I really didn't like anymore, did not really, really want, but had to put a smile, a grin and smile, say, "Oh, thank you, that's great." And meanwhile, I'm getting her stuff that she likes: coffee, wine, manga, getting the kids stuff like that. Don't get any cards from the kids. Buy the kids stuff for Valentine's Day. Bought them stuff for their mom, but nothing for me. They didn't get me anything for Valentine's Day. And my daughter's the only one who gave me a card. And then my wife this year, though, gave me some Blu-rays and a couple books and some Reese's stuff, but not nearly as much stuff as I've been giving her. Of course, that's just my decision. I gave her a ton of manga. I gave her wine. I gave her coffee. I gave her jelly beans. So I gave her a lot of stuff. So I'm used to it right now. I'm not getting a lot of stuff at Valentine's Day. And that's all right somewhat, but it still kind of sucks that, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to still, because I like getting stuff for my family and stuff like that. And I really shouldn't be, pleading and begging for stuff and feeling bad that I'm not getting stuff, because it's a made up holiday. It's not even a real holiday. So then on that Thursday, the 15th, we started getting word from the weathermen again saying, "Hey, there's more snow coming." Yeah, on Thursday. It's going to hit Friday night to Saturday morning, right when my family was going to be camping. And they're going to camp in the snow, and it's potential to overachieve. So we could get upwards of 4 to 8 inches in our area. You can figure out where this is going. So they were supposed to start snowing around 11 o'clock on Friday. Did not start till about 12:30. The ground was a little bit cooler because the week was a little bit cooler. And then they said, the restaurant area is going to get 4 to 8 inches. We got snow, but about 3 inches. It underachieved. And I was like, "Oh, God, we're so sorry. We were wrong again." Second time in a row. And then my wife showed me her picture of their campsite in the snow. It's actually kind of nice looking. They got that at their snow. So that's kind of cool. So we had that. So we did get snow. As I said, only about 3 inches. And when I woke up in the morning, the road was completely clear. The sidewalks were completely clear. But let me tell you why the sidewalks were clear. Because Saturday morning, about 5 a.m., I'm trying to sleep in, because I usually get up at fucking 5 a.m. I'm trying to sleep in. My bedroom window faces out to the front of our house. And what do I hear? Our lousy HOA, which hardly does shit for us, for once actually did something nice by blowing the snow off of the sidewalk at 5 a.m. on a Saturday. It was fucking Saturday. The storm was pretty much going to pass by 5 o'clock anyway. You could have waited till fucking 8 a.m. when most people were up again to do your loud ass blowing of the snow, because it was this light feathery stuff. And then the sun came out, it was bright and sunny, and the 3 inches has turned to shit. It's all pretty much gone. So as of now, there is no snow in the forecast. 43-22 tomorrow, 42-26 Monday, 44-26 Tuesday, 46-26 Wednesday, 46-31 Thursday, 48-33 Friday with chance of rain, 44-26 next Saturday, 45-26 next Sunday, 46-29 next Monday. These are usual temperatures for February. Maybe slightly a little higher than normal. The lows are about right, but the highs might be a little higher because it's Sunday sun, Monday sun, Tuesday partly sunny, Wednesday sun, Thursday cloudy, Friday rain, Saturday partly sunny, Sunday sun, Monday partly sunny. So we're going to have no snow as of now in the forecast. We're going to have sun and partly cloudy skies and average temperatures for the month of February all this upcoming week. So it's going to be a normal weather week. And then we're getting to March here real soon. We have 29 days in February, don't forget. So next weekend is, let's see, today is the 17th. So 24th and 25th is next weekend. So then the weekend after that is actually my wife's 50th anniversary, not her 50th birthday, I should say. We're going to throw a party for her on the 2nd at her sister Catherine's house. The 3rd is her actual birthday on that Sunday. And that Monday, I have a visit with a urologist to talk to me about my kidney stones. So this upcoming week is uneventful. I got nothing going on as far as I know. And there's that. So, and then on top of that, I had a shitty day Thursday, I guess, where I don't know what, I was tired. I wasn't feeling good. My stomach was a fucking mess, diarrhea and just awful stuff. And I got scammed by U.S. Post Office scammers, and I've been panicking since then that they're going to steal all the money from my bank account and my credit card, but so far nothing has happened, so I'm hoping maybe we nip that in the bud. My wife is keeping an eye on it, and I went out to dinner with my son tonight and didn't have any issue paying the bill. I bought some gas with some stuff. I bought some other stuff, and then haven't had an issue. So here's hoping, crossing fingers, everything's okay. So it was a eventful week. A lot of stuff happened this week. Thank God. I don't think anything exciting is happening next week. I think my daughter's got some rehearsal stuff because her high school drama show musical is coming in about a month. So we'll see what happens. March is going to be crazy busy, but here we go. And real quick, before I've been talking 22 minutes about myself, but real quick, good news for me. At my job, I manage a multi-million-dollar account, the Delaware Department of Corrections. They re-upped with our company for 5 more years, so obviously I must be doing a pretty damn good job. So gave me my back. All right. And as expected, the Super Bowl did what I predicted, with the fact that they rigged it so that the Kansas City Chiefs would face San Francisco 49ers, so that Taylor Swift would be in attendance. She made it there from her Japan shows, blah, blah, blah. 123.4 million viewers, which is the highest, most watched show since the moon landing. So pretty much expected that. So we'll see. But it is now, NFL is gone. Only sad a little bit because I love football, and football. One of the reasons I love football is because it's during my favorite part of the year, the fall, and our football team is actually pretty damn good. And there's only 17 games in the season, plus playoff stuff like that. I love my Orioles. Don't get me wrong, my baseball Orioles, but 162 games is a real long time. Baseball is not as exciting as football for me. But the good news is the Orioles are on the up and up, and they should be good again this year. So hopefully things will be good like that. What the hell did I write there? Oh, talk about my week in kidney stones. I already did that. So that is that. So we can get all that done. Taylor is in Melbourne, Australia. Did a couple shows there. Actually did some of the biggest shows she's ever done. 95,000 people, 94,000, 96,000 down in Melbourne. I think she's going to like Brisbane or what's the other big in Australia? There's another big one. I can't think of the top of my head. Where the opera, Sydney. That she's doing one in Sydney as well. And then she's moving on. Apparently Travis will be joining her for her European leg of the Eras Tour, which will be sometime in June, which actually tracks pretty good because he's got early stuff at the beginning of this year, and then that period and like from like May to July, there's really nothing. There's a lot of stuff in the spring, and then after like in July is when training camp starts. So he's going to actually join her in her English, not English, her European leg of her tour for, I would assume, at least a couple weeks would be decent of him figuring of all the games that she went to for him to show that they are a good partnership. So we'll see like that. The one good thing about Valentine's Day was I like to take a look at romantic comedies. I'm a romantic comedy softie junkie at heart. And I also do, like, every day I post a movie trailer for a different movie every day. And February is always my rom-com one. So I find rom-coms I've never heard of or seen before. And I came across one a couple weeks ago called Just Like Heaven, made in 2005. Reese Witherspoon, Mark Ruffalo, and John Hader are in it. And I watched the trailer and loved the trailer. It was a very well put together trailer. Didn't give too much away, but did enough to get me enticed about. So I bought the DVD, which was the whole thing about me getting scammed by the USPS scam that's going around out there, because I wanted to see this movie because I love the trailer so much. I've watched the trailer so many times because it is such a perfectly well done trailer. So I finally watched it last night. I was a little pissed because I wanted to watch a lot of movies this weekend, but because my son was around, I really couldn't, because he doesn't want to watch. He doesn't like watching movies. He likes to play video games there. And I also didn't want to watch something and have him be at the same floor and ask questions and make noise while he's playing his computer game so I could hear everything. That's why I've been trying to get a 13-inch TV in my bedroom, but my wife has been hesitant about it. So wish me luck about that. I mean, I should be able to, because my dad gave me a lot of money for Christmas. I'd like to use it. I found one for $122, flat screen, and I got a 4K Blu-ray player that I can replace my Blu-ray DVD player that I have now, which still works fine. I need a place for it, so I can take that upstairs. And so while they're all downstairs, I can watch in my bed a movie or whatever. So I'm going to try to keep pushing that. To try to do that because I really want to. But I eventually, after we went to bed on Friday night, I said, I have to watch this. I went through so much shit to get this, and I've been watching the trailer, and I need to see it. And I was not disappointed. It's on my list now of one of these comfort movies. I can watch when you're bored. You don't want to watch a new movie, but you watch a movie you want to watch before. It's quick. I like that. It's 94 minutes. Sort of same length about as The Dish, which is another one I like to watch over and over again, which goes very quickly. 94 minutes, very breezy, and adds to the what's the word I was going to use for it? The mysterious San Francisco, the magical San Francisco. There's a movie that came out in 93 with Robert Downey Jr. Called Heart and Souls, which is one of my other favorite rom-coms of all time. Takes place in San Francisco. It's about a guy who has 4 ghosts hanging around him and help him live his life, and then he's got to help them move on, stuff like that. It's a great movie. You should totally watch it. Particularly, it had Robert Downey Jr. before he was Robert Downey Jr. in the midst of his drug-addledness and stuff like that. So it's still really good. Shows he's a good actor. It's a great cast. Alfre Woodard, Charles Grodin, Tom Sizemore, Kira Sedgwick, David Paymer, Elizabeth Shue. Fucking missing somebody. I got you the majority of the people that you're gonna want to see it, and it's a great movie. Just Like Heaven is just like that. I don't want to give out too much, but I'll give you the gist of it. Reese Witherspoon is a doctor who's trying to become an attending physician at the San Francisco hospital. So she works her ass off, and at the expense of her personal life. and her sister's always trying to set her up on dates, and she never goes, and she works full time, and it's like, so after a 26-hour work fest, her boss finally said, "Guess what? You're attending in San Francisco, and don't take this the wrong way, but get the fuck out of my hospital. You've been working for 26 hours. You need a break." And need you to come back fresh. So she decides to take up her sister on a blind date, and is on her way to the blind date when she gets hit by a bus driving, head on car, bus, boom, in the rain. And then we cut to 3 months later, and Mark Ruffalo is trying to find a house or a place to stay. Not really necessarily has to be a house, apartment, whatever. And he stumbles upon this house that has a month-to-month lease instead of a long-term lease. It's gorgeous. It's got a beautiful view of San Francisco. I mean, it's like right in the middle of San Francisco. Beautiful view of it, magical. It's just the scenery and the set design is. If you watch the trailer, you get the idea. It's magical. It's what makes me wanted to watch the movie, was because they use San Francisco basically almost as a character, and all the styles and the way that they shoot it. Mark Waters, who directed it, how he shoots it. And so he goes through there, and he appears to have a slight alcohol problem. His best friend, James or John or something like that, is a pseudo shrink, sort of, trying to talk to him and get him out there. Some sort of tragedy happened to him we don't really know much about, that's concerning his wife. And that's sort of why we think he's drinking, but we don't exactly know what the situation is. And so he takes on this month-to-month lease in this gorgeous apartment, and just sort of spends his time just drinking and eating and just not really doing anything, watching TV and just zoning out. He's not being a part. He's not being social. He's being antisocial, part of that. And then he starts seeing a young woman who screams that this is her house for them to get out. And then she disappears. And so he thinks he's having hallucinations. And we learn, yes, when we see the young lady, it is Elizabeth who is haunting him. Eventually, things calm down a little bit. Mark Ruffalo goes to a place, a bookstore that has, all kinds of supernatural stuff and like that, and meets John Hader, who is the guy who runs the place and has slightly sort of medium psychic tendencies, and gives him some books to read to try to help get the spirit out of the house. But I think he senses that, no, that's till later. So then he tries all this stuff, but it doesn't work. And eventually things calm down, and Reese and him start to figure out what's going on and who she is, because she doesn't remember who she is. So Mark decides to go around and try to help her, try to figure out who she is. During an argument, it's learned that he tries to. I'm all over the place. So before they have for conversations, Reese continues to haunt him because she realizes that she's a ghost and she can't go anywhere, and he's doing stuff that she doesn't like. And she fucks with him and stuff like that. And so he tries to exorcise the demon and get people to try to just get the evil spirit out of the house. And he decides to go to John Hader, who has some psychic thing, and he spot on realizes there is another presence here, but that they're not a ghost. And Reese sort of, backhandedly insults Mark Ruffalo about his wife, and he storms off. And John Hader turns to her and says, you might not, you might be in the right in some aspects, but talking ill of the dead is a bad thing. And he left, because we find out that Mark Ruffalo's wife actually died. And he is the reason why he's drinking a lot. So Reese tries to apologize and proves that John Hader also knows what he's doing. And so she is able to convince him eventually to try to figure out who she is, because she only knows her name. She doesn't know what she did or whatever, to try to maybe help her move on, or figure out what's going on, because he said, you're not a ghost. She doesn't believe she's a ghost and dead. So eventually they go around, do some reconnaissance, and Reese's memory starts coming back. and eventually her and Mark Ruffalo start getting a little closer. They start, sharing more between them. So basically, you can tell they're kind of falling in love with each other, and just all these other weird connections start happening, stuff like that. So you're trying to figure out why all this is actually happening, and then we learn, and this is going to be the last thing I tell you, because I don't want to ruin the rest of the movie for you. We learn that she was not killed in the car accident, but she's in a coma. And so they have to try to figure out how to get her spirit, her soul, who is somehow, for some reason, is attached to Mark Ruffalo, and only he can see her, because John Hader doesn't see her, but he senses her because he's psychic medium. And they have to figure out how to get her soul reattached to her body. And that's the gist of the movie. I'm not going to tell you. There are some other twists and turns in it as well, and more connections and stuff like that. And it is just phenomenal. A breezy 94 minutes. If you love rom-coms, it is a perfect rom-com. There is nothing bad about the movie. It's a great... There's a few little minor quibbles I have. Like there's a scene where Reese Witherspoon is able to enter Mark Ruffalo's body and make him do stuff like in All of Me when Lily Tomlin was able to do that for Steve Martin. But she never uses it again. And maybe that's due to the fact that she did that to make a point and then realized that that is an invasion of Mark Ruffalo privacy or whatever. So that's why she doesn't do it ever again, because it's not right. So that could be the answer to the reason why that is. But there's some other things in there that are just like, okay, that's kind of a little iffy. It is now officially Sunday the 18th, so good on that. So Just Like Heaven, 2005. You cannot find it on Blu-ray. I think it's streaming on Prime, I believe. Check Prime or Netflix. Just type in Just Like Heaven. And it's Reese Witherspoon, Mark Ruffalo, John Hader. And those are the only really big stars in it. There's a couple of other faces you might recognize from other things, but they're nowhere nearly huge stars. And this is before Reese won her Oscar, and right after Mark Ruffalo had his brain issues. So it's a great film, a great romantic comedy, and the trailer itself makes the whole movie perfect. And it made me love Train's Calling All Angels, which is absolutely a crime. It's not in the movie itself, but it's in the trailer and is used perfectly in the trailer. So that's it. That's what I'm going to talk about for that. So now we're getting to the nitty gritty of what I usually do here. 38 minutes in. We're just going to go bam, 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 do all kinds of stuff because we got a lot of interesting things going on. Mandalorian video game has been announced by the company Respawn. It's just been announced, so we probably won't see it maybe till next Christmas or maybe closer to when the movie comes out, which I believe will be 2026. So it's going to take some time to get done, obviously. So we'll see what happens, but there will be a Mandalorian video game coming out shortly. I find this study sort of insulting to me. It says people who walk fast are reported to be less happy. And the person where the article was written, the best comment that came on after it was, yeah, we're less happy because you're too goddamn slow. And that's exactly it. I walk fast because I have long legs, I have strong legs, and I just don't have time for your bullshit. You need to get out of my fucking way so I can go where I need to go. I don't know if I want to try this, but the John Wick experience is going to be opening up in Las Vegas. Are we going to be brutally murdering people with guns and knives and pencils and doing martial arts and getting tortured and all kinds of stuff? The John Wick experience is coming to Vegas. What is that all about? No idea. Guess we'll find out. What the hell? Oh, yeah. So, Shitty stuff in the news. We'll cover that real quick. We're 40 minutes in just about. Shitty stuff in the news. So I talked to you just in the last 40 minutes about the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. So, of course, as always, every Super Bowl champion has a parade in their hometown. And it's a big tradition, and it brings out a lot of people. But due to the fucking MAGA GOP assholes who refuse to do anything about automatic weapons, 2 children, underage children, brought guns to the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade and opened fire. Killed 1 person, injured 20 others, including young children there to see their heroes. Missouri has the worst gun laws in the United States. There is no age limit to when you get a gun. There is open fucking carry there. No age limit for guns in Missouri. So these 2 asshole kids opened fire for whatever fucking reason. I don't know why. I still don't know why. At the parade, as I said, injured 20 people, including lots of young children, and killed at least 1 person who is semi-famous, who I'll get to in a little bit when we get to the death sequences. And there were like 500 police officers there with their guns, and they didn't do shit. It was 2 people who were there watching the stadium that jumped on the kids who had the guns and held them down till the policemen got their thumbs out of their ass and came over and made an arrest on them. On top of that, there were former players and stuff like that who were going over and helping children cope with stuff, protecting them, keeping them safe by keeping them occupied also and not afraid. Meanwhile, police officers and stuff like that, not doing your fucking job. Fucking no age limit on guns, open carry. What the fuck is wrong with you, Missouri? Jesus fucking Christ. And GOP, how many more people, how many more kids are going to get killed before you decide to do some sort of gun control? It's against my Second Amendment rights. No, it fucking isn't. Shut the fuck up. Do you also realize how you guys are praising Putin and how Russia is and loving Russia and want the United States to become Russia? You know what? Russia does not allow citizens to have guns. Don't you fucking get it? You guys are so fucking stupid. You don't understand that bullshit. If you hand everything over to Putin and Russia and have it be a puppet government run by that a-hole, fuckface, dickless shithead, Trump, you're not going to have any guns because Putin's going to say you can't have guns for the citizenry. And Trump will go, okay, I'll do that, Daddy. Fuck you. That's why you need to fucking vote this year. We need to vote all these fuckers out of office. We need to take back the democracy, take back the presidency, the House, and the Senate, and have big majorities in them. That way we can pass all this stuff and get rid of all this bullshit. Speaking of fucking Russia, Alexei Navalny, who was the one candidate who decided to go up against Putin a few years ago for presidency. And of course, Putin doesn't like that because he's dictator for life, but he wants to give the illusion that it's still democracy in Russia, end up poisoning him with radioactive isotopes. He didn't die, but because Navalny needed to make a statement, went back to Russia, where he was immediately arrested and sent to a special prison that specializes in torture, because they couldn't kill him because he'd become a fucking martyr. And then this last week, that fucking douchehead, fuckface, dumb shit, there's not even enough words, fucking Trump is like saying that he will allow Russia to invade other countries. And all these fucking Republican MAGA shitheads are refusing to pass any Ukraine funding bills because they want Russia to take over Ukraine and Poland and run Europe. So with seeing all that and seeing how powerful he is that nobody's fucking doing anything about him, Putin had Alexei Navalny killed. He was murdered the other night And then his body disappeared. His family was trying to get his body back. His body disappeared. They are claiming it was suicide. Bitch, please, we know your fucking MO. Fuck you, you piece of shit. We should nuke your fucking face off the planet. But that's not fair to the Russian people, who this needs to be the spark. I've been saying this for so long. You've been under Putin's thumb for so long. You need to break through. Twice in the last 100 years, twice, you've risen up against these overpowered governments. Once against the kings of Russia, who you did not like, and you overthrew them, and communism took over because you thought the communism was going to be a good thing. And for a while, it might have been. But then Stalin took over after Lenin, and he fucked it all up for you. And then 50 some years later, in the early 90s, you decide we've had a fuck ton enough of communism, and you took over Russia again as a mob, as a people who love their country and don't love the politics of it. You took over your country again for a second time and set up this democracy, which was working fine till this fucking asshole came in. Please don't wait another 50 years. And I think that's what you're going to be doing. Actually, it might have been longer than that because it was like the 1920s. So it wasn't till it's like 70 years before you did it again. But don't wait another 70 fucking years. It's been 30 years already. Let's get this fucking over with. Overthrow these shitheads. And there's a possibility they might, because they've been laying, they like Navalny, and they've been laying flowers at certain things, and Russia's been coming in and arresting 15-year-old girls and families, stuff like that, who are daring to lay flowers at specific sites that are set up for politicians who have been persecuted or something like that. And they've been arresting them and beating them, stuff like that. This is time. This is your time now, Russia. He's weak. He's focused on this fucking Ukraine war. This is the time. Most of the army is over there right now. This is the time. Go over there, set that fuse, take that shit over again. He's so fucking obsessed with Ukraine that the people who will be up against you in arms aren't going to get there for a few years, and it's going to fall back. They're not going to fall back from Ukraine because Ukraine's going to take back their country. This is the time. Navalny's died. He might not have been a lot. He was anti-Muslim and had a bunch of bad issues, yes, but he is the martyr. He's the one you need now. You need to see that this is not right. Putin is never going to leave, despite the fact that you're still a democracy. Now is the time. It is an unending war in Ukraine that you are losing. He's weak. Hit him now. Look, I know I'm big man talking millions of miles away. I mean, I meant thousands of miles away. But you've done it twice in the last 100 years. You can do it again. Locally also, Hall of Fame college coach Lefty Driesell from the Maryland Terrapins passed away today. Also, actually, it's now Sunday, but Saturday as well. So that's kind of upsetting. Valentine's Day was a big day for the MCU. In order to get people excited about the MCU, and after seeing the Deadpool 3 trailer, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, Marvel decided to give everybody an early Valentine's Day present. They had a artistic rendering of the cast of the Fantastic Four movie with the official Marvel stamp, and they're saying these are the actors who are playing these roles and have signed on to play these roles. The Fantastic Four cast has been revealed, and revealed in a really cool way, actually. It's a really neat drawing, very retro. And I'll give you the cast list. It's mostly the names you've been hearing over the last few months are basically the right ones. Pedro Pascal is playing Reed Richards. I like Pedro. I thought Krasinski had the look down perfectly. We'll see what they do with Pedro. He's a great actor. I'm still on the fence about it, but I think it's good. It's better than fucking Adam Driver, who was a worthless casting idea. If they would have cast him, this movie would have been fucking shit. Vanessa Kirby, playing Sue Storm. Sue Storm. Most recently appeared as Josephine, I think, in the Napoleon movie by Ridley Scott. Looks the part, blonde, gorgeous, and it's Pedro Pascal. So, hey, you can't fall in love with anyone better than that. Her brother will be played by Joseph Quinn, who I always forget his fucking name. Give me a second. Joseph Quinn, because you might not know him by name, but you'll know him as playing Eddie Munson from Stranger Things season 4. Yes, the guy who was the Dungeons and Dragons DM, who became a fan favorite, and were, spoiler alert, pissed off when he died, and are hopeful that he will be resurrected as they're expecting. I mean, they haven't started filming Fantastic Four yet, and they are currently filming Stranger Things 5, so it is very possible that after Stranger Things 5, Joseph Quinn's going to jump right into Fantastic Four. So he will be playing Johnny Storm. His role as Eddie Munson was fantastic. He sort of has that attitude, and it should be a lot of fun to see what he's going to bring to the table with that. So I'm okay with that. Well, a lot of people weren't, which I'm a little odd with, but I think it's still a decent one. And then Eben Moss Backrack, who is known as a part of the ensemble on The Bear, will be playing Ben Grimm, the Thing. Now, obviously, he doesn't quite look how you think he would, but that's okay because he's going to be CGI'd as a Thing most of the time. So it's just going to be really basically his voice. And guess what else? Ben Grimm, the character, is Jewish. Eben Moss Backrack is the first ever Jewish actor to portray Ben Grimm. So I think that's fantastic as well. So the cast, I'm okay with it. We'll find out more next year. I'll talk about that in a second. We'll find out more about that, how that looks. I'm intrigued by it, and it's interesting in me enough that I think I want to go see it. Obviously, I was going to see it anyway, but I might not be excited about it, but I'm intrigued by it. Now, on top of that, the picture that they had that was drawn that introduced the cast, which again was such a great likeness of all the actors in their roles. It's outstanding how good it was. Also had a very interesting little Easter egg, which has many people believing that this movie, Fantastic Four movie, is going to take place in the 1960s, at least maybe for the first part of the film. Or the majority of it, it should be maybe, and somehow it's going to figure out why they haven't been seen since. If it turns out to be in fruition, there's a picture in it where Ben Grimm, as the Thing, is sitting on a chair and he's reading Life magazine. If you look closely at the Life magazine picture cover, it is of Lyndon Johnson. It is an actual Life magazine cover from the 1960s with Lyndon Johnson on the cover. Is the cover that he is looking at, and they're wearing their Fantastic Four outfits, but they do look a little like the 1960s style sort of one. So we'll see how that actually works out and see if it will indeed take place in the 60s. But that is intriguing enough idea for me. I think that'll be really cool. So that was the first big news. The second big news is because they finally have the cast set, and now because everything seems to be falling into place now with the strikes being over and everybody's schedules freeing up and movies being rearranged or canceled or recast or whatever, we finally now have a decent look at the next few films in the MCU. More could be added, obviously, over the next few years, but this is what it looks like as of now. Obviously, Deadpool 3 comes out July 25th, I believe, 24th this year, and is the only MCU movie coming out this year. And it is part of the MCU. Next year, 1 year from this week, Captain America Brave New World with Sam as Captain America, is due out on February 14th, 2025. Now, rumors are now abounding that they are cutting the Serpent Society out completely. I really hope they don't, because I really would love to see the Serpent Society. Obviously, I'll still see it because it's still a MCU movie and it's a good cast, and I'm intrigued by it, so I'll see that actually. So, Captain America: Brave New World comes out February 14th, 2025. Thunderbolts has been moved up from its July schedule to May, because they're starting filming here real soon also. Thunderbolts is set to debut on May 2nd, 2025 to kick off summer 2025. That's another movie I am absolutely dying to see. Fantastic Four, now that the cast has been set and everything is all ready to rock and roll, is now going to take the Thunderbolts spot July 25th, 2025. Now, what's interesting about that is Superman, the Superman movie, Prodigal Son, I guess, or whatever it's called, that James Gunn is directing for the new DCU, is set to debut 2 weeks before this movie is. So it's going to be DC versus Marvel in July of 2025. And finally, as of now, things could still change because there's all kinds of rumors coming out, whatever. Blade is still set for November 7th, 2025. I hope that one just gets done, because I'm tired of reading stories about it being delayed and all the changes and stuff like that. Mahershala Ali is going to be great, and we just need to get it done. And now Avengers Kang Dynasty is now set for, and it's still called Kang Dynasty, so obviously it looks like they're going to recast Kang, is now set for May 1st, 2026. And Avengers Secret Wars is now set for May 7th, 2027. So we got that all set up now. So we'll see what happens. Amazon has a Spider-Man Noir, I talked about before, live action series in the works right now. And an intriguing thing crossed the wires this week. A few weeks ago, Nicolas Cage was talking about how he's going to be retiring from movies and he wants to do some TV shows and streaming. He's now seems to be interested and may be attached to the Spider-Man Noir TV show on Amazon Prime, because he said he wanted to start doing streaming stuff. He is a comic book fan, and he was the voice of Spider-Man Noir and Across the Spider-Verse, or Enter the Spider, whatever the first one was called. So that's an intriguing thing. And actually, I think I would love to see Nicolas Cage in a streaming show as Spider-Man Noir. I just think it'd be really, really cool. That's just me, though. Any other Marvel stuff I can look in here real quick before we move on to regular stuff? Nope. All right. Well, Marvel-esque. Robert Downey Jr., of course, Iron Man, so on and so forth. He is producing and starring in a I think it's a movie or TV show called The Sympathizer, which is set for HBO Max, I believe. And a new trailer for that. They had a trailer come out last year before the strike, and now it's set because they finally set a new date for it. Even though I don't think I wrote the new date down there. But he will be playing 3 different characters, and they're all villainous characters. And basically, it seems like it's based on a true story. It looks like after the Vietnam War, they brought over some Vietnamese people and convinced them to be spies for America, to spy on the Vietnamese. Even though they lost the war, they still want to keep track of them to see what's going on. So the main focus of the movie or series, whatever it is going to be on this Vietnamese actor, who I don't know his name, but he is a Vietnamese actor. And Robert Downey Jr. is going to be playing the role of 3 different characters, and they all look different, and you can't tell that it's him. So kudos to you, Robert, on doing that. So that's pretty cool. Also, MCU adjacent, Sam Rockwell, who I absolutely love, Haley Lee Richardson, and Juno Temple are set to star in Gore Verbinski's new movie. Gore Verbinski directed the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and hasn't really done a movie in a while. This will be his first movie. No information is set on it, but he is set to have a new movie coming out here really soon. Luc Besson to direct a new Dracula film with Christoph Waltz and Caleb Landry James. Luc Besson is one of those really kind of interesting directors, and seeing a vampire movie from him could be really cool. So we'll see what that happens with that. I already talked about this. Boom. All right. Reese's frozen fruit at Costco. In this case, it's banana slices, frozen banana slices surrounded by frozen Reese's peanut butter cups is now available at Costco. So if you're looking for a neat little treat for that, that'd be good. Paul McCartney's stolen bass guitar. Bass guitar, it's like the same goddamn thing. Has been discovered 51 years after it was stolen and returned to Paul McCartney. So that's good news for Paul. He finally got his beloved bass guitar back. 51 years. It's older than I was. It was stolen the year before I was. Actually, it was stolen. If it's in 51 years this year, it was stolen on the same time I was around. So that's pretty cool. Valentine's Day, as I said, happened on Wednesday, and a man got a Valentine's from his mother. You send Valentine's from your loved one, stuff like that. That had a lottery ticket in it. Yeah, it's like, hey, you know what? Here you go. Here's your Valentine's Day present. Or is it a scratch off? A scratch off, excuse me. It was a scratch off. Hey, you might win some money. Thanks, Mom. I won $1 million. So this guy won $1 million scratch off from a Valentine's Day present from his mother. I think that's just a great story. I think that's funny. It's outstanding, I think, also. Scientists have turned pure water. I need to get some more. Into metal. The fuck? How the fuck do you do that? But it's on video, so it's not like, hey, we photoshopped this. No, it's a real thing. Reese's mini donuts and Hershey's cookies and cream mini donuts are now available at your local 7-Elevens. So they are actually little mini donuts. You get like a 3-pack of them, and they're Reese's peanut butter flavored and Hershey's cookies and cream flavored. So that's interesting. Jacob Elordi, Richard Gere, and Uma Thurman are set to star in Paul Schrader's new film, Oh Canada, which sounds interesting. Don't know much about it, but that's pretty cool. The Hubble Space Telescope, despite the fact that JWST takes all the credit now, is all the big stuff now, Hubble is still doing stuff and it's still revealing stuff. It took a photograph of a newborn star actually forming 5,900 light years away, but they actually get to see how a new star is forming from this Hubble telescope pictures. And they'll probably have been taking a series of pictures from that area so they can watch it and keep an eye out as they set their telescopes over there to watch it and study it to find out how this sort of stuff is pretty cool. Trailers. The Sting trailer for a movie set to debut April 12th is a horror film similar to Arachnophobia, but not quite. Arachnophobia is more of a realistic sort of spider attack movie. This one is leaning on the basis of a sci-fi B movie. It's about a young girl who has a pet spider who seems to be special in some way, teaches it how to whistle. It mimics her whistle, and it tends to grow immensely over a few periods of days before it becomes a huge thing, able to discover how to unscrew a top, and ends up on a rampage killing people and stuff like that. So giant spider kills people. Sting trailer set debut April 12th. Scoop trailer, talked about this one a little bit last week. Gillian Anderson, Billy Piper, based on a true story about this disastrous interview that was done with Prince Andrew. I don't know the story behind it. I guess I could look it up on Wikipedia after the show today to figure it out, but they made a movie about it. So I think it's going to be on Netflix on April 5th, but it's Gillian Anderson, it's Billy Piper. So you got some, and I think they said Rufus Sewell's in it too. So you got some good actors in it as well. The Cuckoo trailer is didn't really watch this one because I just saw the article about it. It might not even be a trailer, it might just be a behind the scenes thing, but it's a movie about a woman who is pursued by a bird-like creature. So we get another giant monster sort of movie here in a little bit. Okay. Valentine's Day has ended, is past, it is gone. We will not have another Valentine's Day until 2025. So what's next on the holiday calendars? Let's see. Nothing till the end of the month. March, my wife's birthday, but that's not a holiday for everybody. Oh yeah, March 17th is St. Patrick's Day. And one of the highlights of St. Patrick's Day, or one of the things that people love about St. Patrick's Day, is the Shamrock Shake from McDonald's. Guess what? The Shamrock Shake is now available for your perusal. So go out there if you're a Shamrock Shake fan. Go ahead and do that. So this year, because of quirks in the system, Easter is the next holiday right after St. Patrick's Day, and is always the next holiday after St. Patrick's Day, but in this case, it's only about 3 weeks after it. No, 2 weeks after it. Yeah. 2 weeks after St. Patrick's Day is Easter. So now we got Easter stuff coming up. Now, speaking of Shamrock Shakes, the majority of Shamrock Shakes is a creme de menthe sort of flavoring. Andy's Candies, which I despise for a completely different reason. I ate a bunch of them at my grandparents' house on Thanksgiving, ended up throwing up, so I don't ever want to eat them again. But some people like them. There are Andy's Candies Easter eggs, chocolate Easter eggs now available. So go ahead. Actually, that's not on this page. It's another page, but I figured I'd be able to connect it all together. So if you like the Andy's Candies, you can now get Andy's Candies eggs instead. So there's your cream de menthe. So you go from Shamrock Shake to the Andy's Candies eggs. I think I talked about these, but I want to talk about it again because I want to try these, but I have not seen them anywhere. Creamsicle jelly beans, the orange and cream vanilla flavored, vanilla ice cream flavored ice cream, the creamsicle sort of thing, is now in jelly bean form, and I kind of want some. I need to find those. So those have been out and about and spotted. Peeps filled rope. Rope is one of those interesting like Twizzlers, but a little bit different, but it's now filled with like Peep stuff in it. So that's coming out now here too. And Brock's continues to push the envelope when it comes to jelly beans. They've done a turkey dinner jelly bean set. I think there was a Christmas one. Christmas dinner sort of came out this year, the past year, whatever. They now have an Easter brunch jelly bean bag you can get now called Easter brunch jelly beans. And the flavored jelly beans, actually, this seems to be a bit more normal than turkey and gravy and potato flavored jelly beans. This one you have blueberry maple pancakes, which I don't have for Easter brunch, but okay. Chocolate glazed donut, flavored jelly beans. Caramel cold brew jelly beans. Cinnamon roll, flavored jelly beans. Berry smoothie flavored jelly bean. And the best one, save the best for last, mimosa flavored jelly beans are now available with the Easter brunch jelly beans. Anniversaries. Get off of there, bug. Speaking of MCU, Black Panther 6 years ago this week. Happy Gilmore 28 years ago this week. And Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure turns 35 this week. Excellent. Got 2.5 pages left. Minute 8, minute 9 in. My back isn't hurting like it was yesterday, but I still feel something up there. I'm almost out of water. Or the ice should be melting, though it is cold down here. Repo Man's up all night, every night. Harry Dean Stanton, Emilio Estevez, and Alex Cox's classic 1980s film Repo Man, one of my faves. And that line, Repo Man's up all night, every night, by Harry Dean Stanton. Might be hearing it again Probably not from Harry Dean Stanton or Emilio Estevez, but you never know. Repo Man 2 is presently in the works with Alex Cox returning as director. Harry Dean is way too old. Actually, I think Harry Dean passed away. Dumbass. So Harry Dean won't be there. Emilio might still be alive. So maybe what they'll do is they'll make Emilio be the Harry Dean Stanton role because Harry Dean Stanton was old in Repo Man anyway, and then have a new kid come in and be the Repo Man. We'll see what happens till they do. But that was it's such a great movie, and you have no idea what's going on, and then it goes in a completely different way. I remember the fight scene in the grocery store where everything is just generic, it's like chips, soda, water. There's no brand names. I like that, and the whole point of Repo Man that makes it a bizarre film is the alien engine in the trunk, which is just a completely out of left field sort of thing. Oh, spoiler alert. Old El Paso cinnamon toast crunch flavored dessert taco shells are a thing. So I think I talked about that one last week. But I brought it up again because it's an interesting idea. So it's a taco, but it's flavored like cinnamon toast crunch. And you can put like apples and all kinds of stuff. And you don't want to fucking put your regular tacos in a cinnamon toast. No, that would just be bad. It'd be bad. Rod Stewart has sold his complete music catalog to a guy named Irving Azoff, who runs like a American talent company or whatever, for $100 million. Okay. You made $100 million. You won't be making anything else about that. All right. This sounds like an awesome cereal. Cinnabon and Rice Krispie treat flavored cereal. Oh my God, that sounds pretty goddamn good. So I will try to find that. I would love to take that as well. We got the clearest photo taken of the surface of an asteroid. Was released this week, and it looks pretty much as you expect it to look. So there you go. Going back to the MCU, Michael Giacchino, who was a does music score, stuff like that. And then Marvel allowed him, and he also directed on the side. And then Marvel decided, since he did direct and does music, they decided to let him write and direct the Werewolf by Night Halloween short that came out a couple years ago. And it was very well received. So rumor has it now that he is being tapped by the MCU to create a Midnight Suns movie, which would be fucking awesome. Because that's their, like their Justice League Dark sort of thing, but they came first. Midnight Suns came first for Justice League Dark, but it's basically taking Marvel's sort of supernatural characters and making them be a team and just sort of working together to do stuff. So you could do, Blade and Werewolf by Night could be thrown in there, and Elsa Bloodstone and Man-Thing could be in there as well. And then you can create like a Ghost Rider, and Doctor Strange could pop up in there, and all kinds of other definitely other different types of roles in there. So it's definitely intriguing and could be very interesting if done properly. And I think Michael Giacchino, the way he directed Werewolf by Night, I think is absolutely perfect. And I think you got a really good director who has a good eye for that. So I think if this is indeed true, I hope it is, because it's a really good idea. CW is casting David Thewlis from Harry Potter as Sherlock Holmes in a reboot, and I think that's a brilliant casting. I think he's going to be a fantastic Sherlock Holmes, probably for a series coming out in the fall, probably, I would assume. So we'll see if that actually does that as well. All right, these are more political stuff. I talk about that. Ridley Scott is doing something crazy right now. He just finished Gladiator 2, so it's in post-production right now, which means it is set to hit its debut date. I think it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, one of those two. I'm not exactly sure which one it is. I think it's Christmas that they're going to set that. So that actually might not be bad to see. I liked Gladiator, but I did not think it was Oscar worthy, and I was voted down on that. But you've got Denzel Washington in this film, and you got the new Reed Richards and Pedro Pascal's in this one. And you've got some good ideas in there. It's Ridley Scott come back to direct it. And I think maybe I'll see it. It will depend on that. But after he does this film, he's going to do something. I guess, he did do a movie about other historical figures. Not historical. He did Napoleon, but I mean, like current ones. I forget who they are, but like the Versace's or something like that. He's going to be doing a movie about the Bee Gees. I mean, I guess there's enough there to make it interesting, I suppose. I don't know, though, but that's his plan right now. John Hamm is set to join Billy Bob Thornton and Taylor Sheridan's new TV show, Landman. Interesting cast as well. X-Men 97 cartoon. 1997, the X-Men cartoon came out, was a huge hit, and it went off the air after about 4 or 5 years. And Disney Plus is bringing it back with new episodes. And it's been a while. They announced it about 2 or 3 years ago, but it took a while to get everything done, taken care of. It is now finally ready. We had the first trailer for it. I didn't watch it because I don't really care much about it. But the first trailer for it popped up this week, and we get a date. It's set to debut on March 20th, which is like the Wednesday before Easter, sort of Easter week, Holy Week. So that's coming up here quickly. So a lot of people are excited for that. Let's see. What am I looking at here? Trivial Pursuit and Scrabble televised game shows are set to debut on the CW in the near future. Game shows are easy to make. They're cheap. You don't need to have spend a lot of money for talent. You can get some second tier, third tier talent to host it. And you just basically, everyone likes Scrabble. Everyone likes Trivial Pursuit. So you just have to make it a creative way to do it and make it fit within a half-hour window. And there you go. You're set to go. So we'll see how they do that. I know right now it is February 18th. It is presently, get out of all this bullshit. There we go. No. There we go. It is presently 24 degrees here in Reisterstown. And I bring that up because, as I said, my family's out camping. But that's not the reason why they're used to camping in this weather. They don't like it, but they're going to do it. Winter is, is about, I guess I would say, maybe about more than halfway through done. It would have to be about halfway. Because winter started December 21st. It ends on March 21st. And here we are, February 18th. So it's kind of right in the middle. So we've had, 2 weeks in December and then a full month in January. And we're going to have like 2 weeks in March and have a full month in February. So we're about halfway through that so we're about halfway through winter, maybe a little bit more than halfway through winter right now. I think the halfway point of winter was like the 3rd of February or something like that. But as I said, Easter stuff is out there already, and more stuff. Like there's some crocuses sprouted up in my yard, so they're starting to make their appearance here, which means that they know something's coming. Warm wise, I guess they got a shock with the snow, but they'll be all right. But Spring Fruity Pebbles is now available in your grocery stores to get you prepared for spring, because spring will be coming on March 21st, 22nd, maybe, because of leap year. I'm not exactly sure. Dairy Queen's Nutter Butter shake is set to debut on April 1st. So that's good. Only Murders in the Building Season 4 has started the preliminary pre-production right now. They are moving production from New York to Los Angeles, and they have cast Molly Shannon in an undisclosed role right now, and Meryl Streep will be back for this new season, so they get her back for another season. That was all revealed this week. Dolphins use toxic pufferfish to get high. I think I've talked about that story before, but I thought that was kind of funny to read that again and bring it up again because that's kind of funny. The big story in the North Carolina aquarium right now is Charlotte the stingray. Is a stingray in the North Carolina aquarium who is pregnant. The issue is there are no male stingrays in the aquarium with her. Now, before you say, oh, it's Stingray Jesus, which is what I probably should name this episode, there are people believing that a shark may have impregnated the stingray, which I didn't know sharks crossed species, but yeah. We don't know how it works. So, but that's so. If that is indeed the case, we may get a new species, a half shark, half stingray, which would be kind of interesting. But right now, that's kind of the amazing story that they've been calling it, like, you know, immaculate birth and stuff like that. But yeah, they believe that the case was a shark probably impregnated the stingray, even though there aren't. But it was still interesting that there's no male stingrays, and yet she's pregnant. So, kind of interesting there. Knox goes away. I talked about this. I saw an ad for it last week, and I mentioned it on last week's show. Didn't know much about it, but the first trailer for it came out this week. Stars Michael Keaton, and surprisingly, Michael Keaton's also directing it, and was not expecting that. And it's about a former hitman who is starting to have memory issues. Don't necessarily think it's Alzheimer's or anything like that. And his estranged son comes to him and asks him for a favor and gets involved in this whole big scenario with his estranged son. So while he's starting losing his way about doing things. Good to see Michael Keaton doing stuff like that. It's an interesting trailer, but it's not the type of movie that I think I would watch, but it's good to see Michael Keaton stretching a little bit, which is good. Two of the big Super Bowl trailers that came out this week was the Twisters trailer, set to debut July 17th. The long-gestating and long-awaited sequel to Twister will not have Bill Paxton in it because he passed away. Will not have Helen Hunt in it as far as we know. Could be a surprise cameo. And will not have the rest of Helen Hunt's crew in it either. It's a brand new cast, stuff like that, and the first trailer for it popped up, and the tornadoes look more threatening, more danger seems to be following these tornado chasers, stuff like that. The guy, I can't think of his name right now, who was just in Anyone But You with Sydney Sweeney and was just in Top Gun. I can't think of his name right now. It's starring in this one as well. So looks interesting. Check it out. Twisters trailer. You can check it out. Of course, then the Deadpool 3 trailer. Deadpool 3 is set to debut January 24th. It debuted this week, and we got general ideas. We got some cool shots. We got some fourth wall breaking. We get a general idea of it, but we do not actually see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine except in shadow. And we really don't see any of the other supposed cameos, but we do see a lot of an idea of what the story is going to be basically about. And so it looked good. It looked interesting. I'll probably see it. It looked more interesting than number 2. I heard a lot of bad stuff about number 2. I still need to watch it, so I'll probably watch it, and I'll probably end up watching number 3 as well. So there we go. Cops have a shootout with an acorn and empty their magazines into their own police car in Florida. Basically what happened was there was somebody in a police car, I think, and some acorns dropped onto the car. They thought it was gunshots. They pulled out their guns, started firing without looking where it was, and then discovered the acorn right there. But before they realized that it was an acorn, they had emptied their magazines into their police car. I already went on my rant about gun control. I'm not even going to go any further with that, but that's just more signs that it's all kinds of fucked up stuff going on with guns. This week was bad for the GOP in many ways. The biggest one is that fucking a-hole, I've already mentioned his name twice, I'll do it again. Donald Trump had his first sort of, after his rape trial, he had this trial for his fraud trial in New York City. He is now slapped with a $364 million fine that he has to pay the city of New York for the fraud he's done for years and years, and he cannot run a business in the city for 3 years. His sons, Don Jr. and Eric, also got hit with, not as big as Trump did, but they got hit with fines as well, which makes the complete total around $405 million. And both Don Jr. and Eric cannot run businesses in New York either for 3 years as well. There is a woman, I love it, the fact that it's a woman, who is going to be assigned to make sure that Trump is not using money or getting money used against the buildings in New York, because he can't, because that's what this court case was. And also we had to make sure that he pays up everybody he needs to. Speaking of that, also, he owes E. Jean Carroll so much money, first from the rape stuff, and then from his kept blasting her on social media, and then he hasn't talked about her for a couple weeks. Well, he brought her up again this week, so let's look for another defamation trial coming up and let him get some more fucking money taken out of him, because he is just a petulant little bullshit child. What is the best tweet I saw this week was, Donald Trump is what you get when you don't discipline your child till they're 77 years old. So that's interesting. We also know that Hunter Biden has been a big story for the GOP, because Joe Biden himself is untouchable like Obama was. He hasn't had any bad. He doesn't cheat on his wives. He doesn't have any hush money. He's not defrauding anybody. But they're trying to find some way to get him, impeached as well, to make a statement. So they're going through his son, Hunter, who they are coming up with some ideas that he's been using his father's influence to get money and stuff like that. So they're trying to impeach him for that. And they say they have an FBI informant who's got the smoking gun that'll prove everything and prove that, Joe Biden is crooked, stuff like that. And his son, Hunter, is worse than that. This week, we learned that this FBI informant that is their key witness in the impeachment thing has been indicted for lying about what he knows about Hunter Biden. He never, he made up the entire story that the Republican Party is using for their attacks on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And that just came out this week, so hopefully there'll be some repercussions coming from that. But I really hope Hunter Biden decides to sue the shit out of the GOP and fuck them over even more. So hopefully that'll be the case. Hope he sues every single fucking GOP person individually. Anniversary Super Troopers came out 23 years ago this week. The Breakfast Club came out 39 years ago this week. Daredevil, the Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner one, who we'll talk about those two in a little bit, is 21 years old this week. And Silence of the Lambs came out 33 years ago this week. Deaths, this page has a couple big ones. First up, Sweet Pea, the tiny puppy who stole the show at the Puppy Bowl during the Super Bowl this past year, unfortunately passed away due to kidney issues this week. Lisa Lopez Galcium was one of the people killed in the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade shooting. She was the co-host of A Taste of Tejano cooking show. William Post, the creator of Pop-Tarts, passed away at the age of 96. I still eat Pop-Tarts to this day and have one every day. At least I have two every day. And this one hits a little hard for me. Paul Neary, British comics legend, inker extraordinaire, pretty good penciler as well. Inked Alan Davis spectacularly, and who did he ink on the Grunwald stories? Whoever was doing Captain America in the 80s, he inked them as well. And inked Alan Davis mostly, particularly on Excalibur was one of my favorite ones. And it was an artist on his own right. He did Captain Britain. He's done everything. He passed away at the age of 74 this week. So kind of sad because I like Paul Neary a lot. And it's a shame that he passed away. All right, about an hour and a half in. Probably got a good another 15 minutes left, and then I'll be going back up to the heating pad and going to sleep. New behind-the-scenes pics of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker 2 due to come out this fall. Actually, on my wedding anniversary again, October 4th. The last one came out on my wedding anniversary also, or around it, I should say. Godzilla x Kong new trailer came out this week, showing more of the Godzilla Kong battle and showing the bad guy and Baby Kong and King Kong with his new metal hand and Godzilla doing what he can. But it looks like this is going to be more of a Kong movie than Godzilla. But my son, who's a huge fan of Godzilla, is actually excited for the movie and can't wait to see it. This one I'm intrigued about. And I talked about it a little bit a couple weeks ago, I think, but we finally got our first trailer for it. And it's definitely a unique idea. And I might just have to see it just to see it. It's like Cocaine Bear. It's called Sasquatch Summer. And it's, who's the guy? The guy who played Jesse Eisenberg. He wasn't the one who played Ken. That was somebody else. That was Sarah. No, Jesse Eisenberg. And I forget the other person who's in it also. The movie's about a family of big feet, a mom, a dad, a kid, grandparents, stuff like that, and how they live. But it's dirty. It starts with a scene of two Sasquatches butt fucking, I should say. I've also heard that there's vomit and blood and piss and poop and stuff like that. And it's just, and there's like, it seems like there's no dialogue. Like they're gonna be talking like Bigfoot's do, so there might be no dialogue in the film. And I don't know if the actors were in costumes or CGI or what, I don't know, but it's Sasquatch Summer. Just it's hard to describe. Just check it out for yourself. Sasquatch Summer trailer. Check it out for yourself. Love Child, Elizabeth Olsen and Chris Mullen to star in a new Todd Solondz movie. Todd Solondz had done a movie for a while, so it's good to see, and also good to see Lizzie Olsen doing some more stuff. Master of the Universe was thought to be dead at Netflix. The Master of the Universe movie was reboot was set. Looks like it was set to be dead at Netflix, but has been picked up at Amazon's new Amazon MGM Pictures wing. Their first film is Roadhouse, which is not coming to theaters. It's going to be direct to Amazon Prime. Everybody's believing that they're going to do the same thing with this movie when they make it, but they are going to make it, and instead of debuting it in theaters, debuting it on Amazon Prime. There's Andy Scanny stuff. New Damsel trailer with Billy Bobby Brown debuted. That movie's coming out on March 8th. We got a little bit better idea what the story is. Basically, Billy Bobby Brown is a princess who is her marriage is set up to a prince, but the family of the prince has a tradition where they sacrifice the bride to be to the dragon in the mountain, and if she survives, then they will be a stronger family. If she doesn't, they'll move on and find someone who will be. So we follow her, how she has to survive in this mountain facing off against a dragon. So intriguing about that. Stephen Amell, who played Oliver Queen in Arrow, is set to lead the Suits spinoff. So he's coming back to work here. The first look at Jafar Jackson as Michael Jackson and Antoine Fuqua's Michael Jackson biopic is unbelievably uncanny, considering he is Jackson's nephew. But still, it is an amazing likeness, and I'm that much more intrigued about this movie now seeing this. Rennie Harlin's back with a movie called Deep Water with Aaron Eckhart and Sir Ben Kingsley. It's about giant sharks. Of course it is. Darren Aronofsky is in talks to direct a Plastic Man movie, which could be interesting because Darren Aronofsky is one of those really interesting, bizarre sort of directors. Another one of the trailers that debuted during the Super Bowl was the Wicked trailer for the movie version of the musicals, Wicked Part 1, set to debut at Thanksgiving this year. Looks kind of interesting. It looks like they're doing a pretty good job of getting the vibe of Wicked into movie form, so that's pretty cool. Coup de Claire, excuse me. Woody Allen's 50th movie is set for release in April. Wearable beanbag chair is a thing where you could walk around in a beanbag chair, and if you decide to sit down, automatic beanbag chair. Just be kind of a little hard to walk around with it, I think. The Coyote versus Acme bullshit is continuing. There's still hope that it might not be shelved and destroyed because there's like a court case or something going on with that. So we'll find out what happens with that, but more than likely they're going to lose that one. American-born Chinese actor Ben Wang has set to be the lead in the new Karate Kid movie with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan. The Animal Kingdom trailer is a interesting independent film that takes a look at a potential future where human and animal hybrids are a regular occurrence, and it's probably going to be a treatise on racism and stuff like that. Lily Wachowski is set to direct a solo movie away from her sister. They were the ones that did the Matrix movies, Speed Racer, and a bunch of other ones. But she's set to debut her own solo movie called Trash Nation. It is a comedy. Don't know much more about it. It's something about hoarders, I think. But it is a comedy because the writer of the, or co-writer, should say, Lily's writing part of it as well. The co-writer with Lily is a stand-up comedian who I think is going to star in it as well. Someone I never heard of before. I don't know about this one. Monstrosity is about a vampire, werewolf, zombie, and Frankenstein's monster who are set to guard a Hell's Gate. What's a Hell's Gate and have all them together guarding it against what? I don't know. I guess we'll find out more about that later. New movie Titan stars Kiara Madeira and Jessica Roth to star in a creature feature from the director of what's that one? I forget about it. It was about the inbred guys up in the mountains. Wrong Turn. That's what it was. Canada Dry Fruit Splash Cherry Ginger Ale is starting to make its debut now. So go ahead and check that out for yourself. HEB, which is a regular chain we don't have around here, apparently has a churro, cinnamon, and sugar bacon that you can eat. Don't know if that's such a good idea. Adam Sandler is set to return to stand-up for a new Netflix comedy, stand-up comedy. I always like seeing when actors who haven't done stand-up in years and have made their fortune in movies like an Eddie Murphy, stuff like that, return to stand-up and what their new comedy is like now that they're older and more popular, stuff like that. Not going up there. Greenland is turning green for the first time since the Middle Ages. That's not a good thing. She's sure that climate change is a real thing and is fucking everything up for everybody. Good job, everybody. So, this whole how do you do about Taylor Swift and the NFL and the GOP and blah, 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 blah. The story that would not go away for the 2 weeks between the AC championship games or the NFL championship games and the Super Bowl. The GOP losing their fucking minds over her for no reason other than she's trying to get young women to vote. And more than likely, they will all vote Democratic. She's not telling them to vote Democratic. She's just telling them, vote, goddammit. Vote for whoever the fuck you want. But they know that they're going to follow their leader, Taylor, and vote Democrat. They're going to get their asses voted out. So that and a whole lot of other stuff going on. That she's ruining football. And as I said, 54 seconds in a 3.5 hour football game. Anywho, because it was the big story and because it's all these fucking neo-Christian fascist fuckfaces, a televangelist from Arkansas is declaring that Satan is engineering Taylor Swift marriage to Travis Kelce so she can give birth to the Antichrist, who will bring about a 1,000-year war between God and the Antichrist. First and foremost, about 2 years ago, I did a treatise about how Donald Trump is actually the Antichrist. And second, the fuck is wrong with you? What you televangelists really need to be looking at is your people and your Baptist church people who are all fucking pedophiles who like to sexually assault young children. Taylor Swift is not demon spawn. Travis Kelce, Travis Kelce's not either. He may be a fucking douchebag, and I hate him when he's on the field, but he ain't a fuckface. He's not satanic. He's not demonic. You guys are losing your minds for no fucking reason, and it's driving me absolutely bonkers, all the shit that you fucking morons are spouting and have been spouting now for close to 10 years since 2016 when all this bullshit started. I am so fucking tired of it. I'm tired of reading about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. And I'm tired of seeing all these fucking bizarre ass stories where these people have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. It's late. My back is starting to hurt a little bit. Not as bad as yesterday or last week, but still there. I'm going to move on. Kevin Kipton passed away this week. He is still is the marathon world record holder. He died at the age of 24 in a car accident, but he still holds the world record for the marathon. A lot of anniversaries. Wayne's World came out 32 years ago this week. The Big Lebowski came out 25 years ago this week. The reboot of Friday the 13th came out 15 years ago this week. Groundhog Day came out 31 years ago this week, which was a week after Groundhog Day when it debuted 31 years ago. Deadpool debuted 8 years ago this week. And The Beach debuted 24 years ago this week. The Beach happens to be the first movie that Leonardo DiCaprio starred in after he did Titanic. And real quick also, I missed this death. Stuntman turned serial record breaker Ron Sarchan died at the age of 59 after a cancer battle. So he passed away this week as well. He was a stuntman who got cancer. And instead of, I guess he couldn't do stunts anymore. If he did, whatever, he decided to shift his focus to, you know what? I feel like breaking world records. Why not? It's something to do. It's kind of cool. So he broke a bunch actually and has the bunch of world records there. All right. We're bound to our last bits of stories. So here we go. The Umbrella Academy Season 4 is set to debut on August 8th. It is the final season of Umbrella Academy, and they're splitting up into two parts. Part 1 is set to debut on August 8th. A little ways to go there, but it still has to go there. Oh, yeah. Abbott Elementary has been renewed for a 4th season. Sophie Turner and Kit Harington will be reteaming. They worked on Game of Thrones together. They'll be reteaming in a gothic horror film called The Bleh. I want to say The Marked. It's a gothic horror film. Hot redhead Sophie Turner, Kit Harington reteaming on Game of Thrones. Speaking of reteaming, Jennifer Garner is in talks to join the cast of Animals with Matt Damon, which happens to be directed by her ex-husband, Ben Affleck. So it means that they still have a good relationship, it looks like, and that's good. I just went off on Donald Trump. I'm going to do it one more time because this is ridiculous, and this came over the wire about an hour or so before I came on here. Apparently, there's a shoe convention, and because Donald Trump owes close to $1 billion, if not more than that, in all of his court cases as of now, he needs money because he doesn't have any of this money. So he has created the Freedom Shoe. It's gold high tops. Basically, it's high top shoes spray painted gold with an American flag on it that he's selling for $400 a pair. But because you MAGA are so fucking stupid, you're going to buy them because you're supporting your Lord and Master cult leader, not knowing that all that money ain't going to him. It's going to New York City. It's going to E. Jean Carroll. And while he was at this shoe convention, getting ready to announce his shoe, his new shoe, he was booed mercilessly. He was supposed to talk for 45 minutes about politics and the shoes, stuff like that. He couldn't handle being booed at and walked off the stage about 30 seconds after it happened. He also paid a woman to come on stage and say, "You're a good man, you're a Christian, you've got a good family, man," and give him hugs and kisses. And she was a fucking plant because the Secret Service would not allow just some normal person to go up there and do that. And these are just pre-orders. You pay $400 to pre-order to get the shoes. You ain't going to get the fucking shoes. It's a fucking scam. He's taking your money to pay for his court fees and stuff, and his the $364 million and the $800 whatever million it is that he owes E. Jean Carroll. He's taking your fucking money. You ain't gonna get these shoes, son. I'm telling you. Trust me, he's a fucking con man. And you're so dumb, so dim-witted, so stupid that you don't realize you're getting your dumb asses scammed. One guy did get lucky, though. He did win one in an auction and spent $6,000 for them, despite the fact that he's selling them on pre-order for $400. But he probably knew full well he probably wasn't going to get it if he pre-ordered it. I had a lot to say about that asshole this week. Hopefully I won't have anything else to say about him. Hopefully. We'll see. The final story for this week, in a longer than usual episode. And this one was a story that right before I went on, I saw it on my page. Scientists have discovered that they believe that T-Rexes had lips. Just think of a T-Rex. Think of the T-Rex from Jurassic Park and put lips on it. It's fucked up, man. All right, that's it for this week. Busy week. Next week, not so busy. I'm taking off. It's late. Good night.